They say this mountain can't be moved. They say these chains will never break. But they don't know you like we do. There is power in your name. We heard that there is no way through. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Dr. Coker, with the program Bible Explains It All. Thank you very much for joining us this beautiful Saturday morning from Dallas, Texas. Today, we are discussing if God has created us totally free or are we restricted? Because if you read Genesis chapter number 2, verse 16 to 17, you see this paradoxical or contradiction thing in it. And sometimes if you try to wrap your head around it, that if you are free or if you are restricted. This is your program, Bible Explains It All, the more spiritual fun you allow to have than anywhere else than Bible Explains It All. So Genesis, without further delay, Genesis 2, 16 through 17, it says, and the Lord God commanded the man, you are free to eat from any tree in the garden. Now, God is setting the parameters of man to be completely free. But you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So now the God is saying you are free, but now he's putting the restrictions on him in verses 17 and saying you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. For when you eat from it, you will certainly die. Now, the thing is this, isn't this paradoxical? In chapter number 2, verse 16, God is saying you're free, and then he's saying that if putting the restriction on it. Now, free will is the true foundation of all kind of happiness if you have not already figured this out. It is free will that allow you to have the happiness. It is free will that allow you to have the love. It is free will to have you have those feelings out. And it is the free will that make you choose between the good and the bad thoughts. It is all free will. If there is no free will in your life, then you are just like a robot and nothing means anything to you because you are just like a toy on some kind of a remote control. So it is the free will that made possible all these happiness possible in your life. Now, why is then there is a restriction also on it? So if you really just go into it and if you really see what God is saying and trying to wrap your head around it, so in fact, the restriction, so listen to me carefully, okay? In fact, the restriction of not eating a fruit from the tree is in disguise of free will. What do you mean? What do I mean by that? And that is what Adam and Eve, they were blessed with the free will. The restrictions they were put on them is actually a free will to choose between the good and evil in the garden. And that restriction is not, so what I read, Genesis 2:16 and 17, is not actually the contradiction. Actually, it is enhancing their free will. And that's exactly what they got. They got the free will. Now, but why did God create us as free will beings? Now, this is the question of the day. So we just figured out that there is no contradiction. But why did God create you as a free will being? So God created you as a free will being. Number one, we already you set the parameters that without free will, there is no sin. I mean, you cannot even sin. You're always good. God could have created you always good all the time. right? But that's all. But God gave you the free will to have a full ecstasy of love. God gave you free will to have a full enjoyment in this life, and that is only possible under the free will. But then there is more to that in that free will. What is that? It is because God gave us this free will to test your obedience. Yes, it is because when God is telling you not to eat a fruit or just giving you the free will, so that is the test of your obedience also. So, how is God testing your obedience? It is through free will that God tested your obedience. And if you think that if you lost that free will test in the Garden of Eden with one commandment, just God gave one commandment, not to eat of the tree. And then we lost that. And because of that free will, we are right here in this world, in this body, bearing all these circumstances of this world. And if you are thinking that you could not, and Adam and Eve could not keep, and you cannot even keep one commandment either. Let me tell you, let me test you right now. If you're watching me right now, let me test you. If I ask you, do not look on your right hand side because something is going on, you'll be itching to do so. Now, if you cannot keep one commandment, then try keeping 613 commandments in the Old Testament to be one with God, or to redeem yourself, or to have salvation. God bless you. You cannot even keep one commandment, and you lost that commandment. And now, on the top, in the Old Testament, in Moses, so there are 613 commandments were given to appease God, or to be one with God, or to have salvation. How that's possible? Nobody. I do not know. Nobody can keep even few commandments. On the top of that, these are 613 commandments. So what is going to happen? Romans chapter 5, verse 19, if you see, for as by one man's disobedience, Romans 5:19, it says, for as by one man's disobedience many were made sinners, so by the obedience of one shall many made righteous. So, my brother and sister, if someone is coming and telling you this uh, faith thing, that, oh, if you can keep all these commandments and all the laws and you will be saved, I'm so sorry. You are already figured out in your life that you are a miserable failure by keeping only few commandments, and you cannot keep whatever laws. So Romans 5:19, it is because of Jesus Christ, because of his obedience. All you have to do is believe in that obedience, and now you do not have to keep all the commandments. Now, somebody may ask me this question, and I really do not want to go because I'm under restricted time. But somebody may ask me, so it means, now if I just believe in the obedience, because Romans 5:19 in the Bible is saying, because of the obedience of one man, we are all saved, and because of the disobedience of one man, we are all under that curse. So somebody may ask me this question this morning, so it means we can do anything we want to. I did not say that. Okay, and this is some another topic, and we will discuss this on another time. But right now we are talking about the free will, and the free will is because of the free will, the obedience, test of obedience, and we lost that test of obedience, and that's what happened, and that's why we are in this body and in this miserable situation. Number two, the free will is a test of your faith also, right? That was exactly what God was testing that day. The free will is the test of your faith at the same time. It is through free will we lost the test of faith. Okay, First Corinthians 5:14, 15, sorry. First Corinthians 15:14, it says, and if Christ be not risen, then our preaching is vain, and your faith is also in vain. I do not know what kind of faith you have this morning. I mean, who do you have faith in? That's what my question is. I mean, if you do not have a faith in the Lord Jesus Christ, this morning, so I do not know if you think that you lost the test of the free will and now you are here in this world and you lost that test of faith, and in this world, somehow you're going to gain that test back and you will be one and you'll be in the Garden of Eden. And I know this, I understand there are some people probably under my voice, they would just say this, that we do not even believe in this Garden of Eden drama. Okay, well, that's fine. Okay, if you do not believe in that, but you adhere to any form or kind of faith, then exactly what are you saying, that where did you come from and why are you in this miserable situation? Oh, we are in this miserable situation because of our karmas. Then that is another paradoxical situation, and I'm not going to talk about it this morning. So I'm going to stick with my topic this morning, because when you talk the karmic reactions, so that in itself is a huge, great debate of paradoxy. Let me give you just one little nugget about it, and we're going to go back into the free will. The thing is this, so if you became a man, so what kind of karmic or what kind of karma turned the first man into a man? I mean, this is a, I mean, but we can talk about this some another day. Okay, let's stick with my topic. Okay, so the free will, and the free will is the test of your obedience, and that you lost that test of the obedience, and now through Christ only, there's no other way. Number second, you lost the test of faith, and now through Christ, if you, the Christ is the only way. You know why I'm saying this? Because if you believe, if you have a faith in any kind of law, so this is a law situation. If you believe in any kind of guru or in any kind of man who came here on this earth and then died just like the natural death, me and you gonna die, then you are putting eggs in the wrong basket. You are putting eggs in the wrong basket, because you are saying that somehow a blind can lead another blind, because I am completely blinded by this free will, and then I lost the test of faith, and now I'm just somehow saying that some another person who died, who was born and dead and never came back, somehow what he told me, because I put my faith in him, and somehow faith in that person, somehow I will be saved. Well, good luck with that, because that's not gonna happen, because the dead always lead another dead into the grave or cremation. I'm telling you now, because the Bible is talking about this, First Corinthians 15, and if Christ is not risen, so if you do not believe in the resurrected Christ, the Bible is saying that all my faith is all useless. It's a useless, and so is yours. I do not know who do you believe this morning under my voice on Radio Caravan. I do not know if you're listening to the radio. I mean, and I'm so sorry I cannot take the calls, but if you are listening on the Radio Caravan, I do not know what you believe. And if you do not believe in, if you believe in some kind of dead meat, then you do your own, run your own logic. You know, that what is the chance of the test you have failed under the free will, the test of faith? How that test, how can you, it is possible that you can be one with God. And number three, the reason God has given us a free will to have a relationship with him. That is the third thing. So God is putting you under the test to have a relationship with God. Whether you have that relationship, and you know this, that we have failed miserably in that relationship when we put our trust in something else and did not trust in God. So that test has already been failed. So now what is your plan? What is your plan, man or woman or whoever is under my voice on this radio caravan? What is your plan for the salvation? You're going to live this 70 or 80 years life, and then you will be going where? Tell me. Where are you going after that? Okay. So you are going, if you say that you are somehow going to God and you do not have that relationship, so then what is the plan? Let me read what the Bible is telling you. You can have that plan and you can have that relationship corrected with God with the test you failed in the Garden of Eden, the free will test. Ephesians chapter 2. And you were dead in the trespasses and sins in which you once walked, following the course of this world, following the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that is now at work in the sons of disobedience. We are the sons of disobedience, among whom we all once lived in the passions of our flesh. Are you still living in the passion of your flesh? I'm just struggling, and I believe that you are too. We are all. We are all in the same boat. Nobody is perfect. All these three free will tests, boom, failed. So, in disobedience, among whom we all once lived in the passion of our flesh, carrying out the desires of the body and the mind, and were by nature children of wrath, because what Adam and Eve they have committed that sin, we are the children of wrath, like the rest of the mankind. But God being rich in mercy, look at the plan. So God is restoring that relationship. I'm talking about God created you for the relationship and we failed that. Look at the restoration of that relationship. But God being rich in mercy, because of the great love which he loved us, even when we were dead in our trespasses, made us alive together with Christ. By grace you have been saved. There's no other way. I mean, and this is a very, very unique part, and I'm just going to share it with you. I have a lot of friends, and they lot of friends, non-believer friends. Okay, and at the end of the day, you know what they say? They say the grace of the God will save me. But believe it or not, I mean, you talk with anyone who does not believe in Christ, and at the end of the day, they were told that somehow the grace of God will save them. Let me ask them this question. Okay, how can a grace of God can save you? Where was the grace of the God when you were separated from God the first place? Why didn't the grace of God save you then? Why? I mean, God, when you committed the sin, when Adam and Eve committed the sin, or whatever you believe, if you do not believe in Garden of Eden and you're listening to Radio Caravan this morning, and when that separation was happened, so where was the grace? Why didn't God extend the same grace in Garden of Eden to Adam and Eve, or whatever philosophy you believe in? Where was the grace at that time when you were separated from God? Obviously, if you believe in any kind of faith, and unless you're an atheist this morning and you're under my voice, but if you believe in God and you say that grace will save me, where was that grace? This is my question. I mean, how come the grace didn't save you then? How come we are in such a miserable situation, and the miserable situation is the punishment is that you were told to go in that body, and you are, who is talking with you this morning? This is my soul. This is not my body. Okay, so don't think that this is somehow Dr. Coker is talking with you, the body is talking with you. This is the soul to soul talking to you. Where was that grace then? You know what? Because God is a just God. And am I answering that question? You know what I posed a minute before? Okay, I posed the question, where was the grace when God, He really threw you right here in the garden of right here? So where was that grace? So the grace, God is a perfect, just God, and at the same time, God is a merciful God. And in the both situations, me and you, when we used our free will the wrong way, so we were subject to death, we were subject to the punishment, we were subject to be in this body. And now it is through grace, and that grace can only be through Christ, because Christ paid that penalty, the penalty of the free will you used the wrong way, the penalty that you used to use your free will and to be disobedient. And that when Christ was completely obedient and you use your free will to break that relationship, and then Christ paid that penalty to connect that relationship. Other than that, you can talk with me and you can call me on this radio and you can talk me anywhere or any fashion or form. There's no logical way that the existence of God even exists. That is illogical in its own sense. Okay, so that's where we will conclude our program. And if you need a prayer request and if you need prayer, so please call me, and I will be taking your call at 214-817-3333. And if you are using your free will the wrong way and you are somehow, some fashion or form in stuck in this life cycle and you do not know where to go, what to do, so we will be here to pray for you. So I'm just going to play this song for you. God bless you all. So thank you very much again. And God bless you. Thank you for listening, Radio Carmon, and thank you being with the program with us this morning. Thanks. They say this